Good morning, ladies. Now, I was going to say ladies because I know I've got men in the group as well, but I'm guessing it's going to be majority of women who are going to be listening to this health talk all about the menopause this morning. I'm not going to use my mic this morning, so you are going to hear all the birds. It sounds like we're in a tropical destination behind me currently at the moment. We've got a lot of wildlife going on in our garden, which is lovely. I'm not complaining about that in any way, shape or form. But yeah, apologies that you're going to hear a little bit of sound in the background from here. So this is a health talk which I've actually broken down into sections, and I've done a health talk on each of these subjects individually, which you will be able to search in the group. You'll be able to go to the magnifying glass at the top and literally put in things like brain fog, hot flashes, night sweats, and it will come up with the talk. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I want to know more about that, then you've got a whole nother health talk on that individual subject. But what I wanted to do today was give you a little bit of help with regards to managing your symptoms with regards to the menopause as kind of a bit of an overall. Now, years ago, certainly when I first got into the industry, when we were thinking about menopause, I mean, it wasn't a subject that a lot of people spoke about. It wasn't something that certainly anyone in the fitness industry spoke about. And I pretty much felt like there was maybe only 10 symptoms really, or maybe even only 5 symptoms that people kind of associated with the menopause. I think there was a study came out earlier this year, and I think Davina spoke about it because obviously she's like menopause queen, where they've actually found that there's something like 54 symptoms all in all of the menopause, whether or not that's going through perimenopause or actually on the other side of you being through the menopause completely. The definition essentially at the moment still stands as somebody who hasn't had a period for 12 months. But obviously women are experiencing differences with their periods all the time. I speak to my clients with regards to their symptoms who still have periods, but they may have one period and then they might not have a period for another 3 months, and then they have another period. Or they have periods, but they are really irregular in the sense that some days they last 3 days and then they come off and then they might come back on again and then they bleed again for another 2 weeks. And it could be, completely irregular in that format. So as a woman, you don't know where you stand. You don't know what's going on with regards to what's happening with your cycle. And unless you are completely regular and you're not experiencing any symptoms and you're possibly of the age of under 35, there's no real guarantee that you aren't going through the menopause. Some women go through it very young. I've got friends who have gone through the menopause who are only in their 40s. I've got other friends who've had no symptoms, and my mum was one of these people as well, because she was on the mini pill. She didn't have periods anyway, and she was on the mini pill for another reason. She didn't even know she was going through the menopause. She had no symptoms whatsoever until they turned around and said, Mrs. Reed, you are of a certain age. You do not need to be on the mini pill anymore. We can pretty much guarantee that you are, through the menopause. And then they took her off the mini pill, and she'd kind of literally been through the whole thing with only a very, very few symptoms all in all. So every woman is very different with regards to what's going on and with their symptoms. But what I wanted to talk about was probably, the 5 biggest symptoms that most women experience. But the information I'm going to give you right now can be applicable to all of them. And what a lot of women do not realize is that, before they'll even look at what they could take medically, they don't look at their lifestyle first. And many of the symptoms that a woman experiences could be diminished. And I'm not saying got rid of completely, but diminished, definitely made better if they actually look at their lifestyle first, with what's going on with their nutrition, their hydration, their sleep, and their stress. And all of these things have a huge knock-on effect to pretty much every single symptom. And if you look at the work of Louise Newton, who I've looked at for years and years and years, or any women's health specialist, they will always talk about lifestyle first. Before they start looking at bloods, they start looking at, going on HRT or any other medication, they will be speaking, hopefully, to that woman about her lifestyle, and they'll be finding out what's her nutrition like. Is she staying hydrated? How much additional fluid is she taking in from things which could stimulate those symptoms, i.e. caffeine, alcohol? What's her stress levels like? And what's her sleep like? Now, obviously, that could sound really simple, and you might turn around to me and say, Kelly, but it's not that easy, because I'm having night sweats and you're telling me to try and sort my sleep out. But that's a knock-on effect because I'm not sleeping. And then because of the night sweats, that's then causing the symptoms to be worse. I know it can be a snowball effect. And I know it's almost like, a catch-22. You're not sleeping well because of your night sweats. Obviously, then you're going to be fatigued. That's going to have a knock-on effect with other symptoms. All of these things can play part and parcel of it. But there's definitely things that you could think about doing that may potentially help you a little bit better, that you might not associate together. So one of the biggest things that many women experience, which can really be demoralizing for many women, is brain fog. So anyone can experience brain fog due to all sorts of types of reasons. Men can experience brain fog, literally, for no reason whatsoever, completely just goes out of their head with what they were about to say, or forgetting what they were supposed to do, or forgetting to do something. Brain fog can massively be affected by being dehydrated. And that's because 60% of your brain is water. So many women don't realize that actually one way that they can make their symptoms much more manageable, very simple, and actually free, is to hydrate more. And it needs to come from hydration of water. Whether or not that's water with BCAAs in it, whether or not that's water which is sparkling, but it needs to not have excessive fruit juice in it, because obviously that's high sugar. And it needs to be not from a caffeine point of view, i.e. fizzy drinks, tea or coffee. Fruit tea is a great way of hydrating, especially if you don't like the taste of water. But if you hydrate more, that is going to help you with your brain fog symptoms, because your brain is going to be hydrated. And like any other muscle in your body, when that's hydrated, it will function better. So again, from a training point of view, if you are dehydrated, you are going to experience a lack of strength. You are going to not be able to probably have as much energy during that workout, and your recovery is going to be so much worse, because DOMS, delayed onset of muscle soreness, is hugely affected by being dehydrated. So if you think of it from a training purpose point of view of how you would look after the rest of the muscles in your body, look after your brain like that as well. So one of the big things you can do is to hydrate more. Now, the way that we know if we're hydrated is we go on our urine. And when you go for a wee, if your urine is anything else but completely clear, and you've not been taking an additional vitamin C supplement or a Berocca or anything that's going to cause it to become discolored, if it's not clear, then you are not hydrated enough, and you need to continue to drink until your urine runs completely clear. And then once that happens, you're hydrated, and you can stop drinking until your color changes again. That can be a big, big effect. Now, a lot of menopausal women, perimenopausal women, will also have problems with regards to pelvic floor. Pelvic floor will change with regards to its strength, and all of a sudden we'll notice when we sneeze or when we cough or when we laugh, we will experience indifferences that we never had before. And so a lot of women will not hydrate because they're scared of leakage. Again, it's this knock-on effect, this hamster wheel effect. Okay, well, we're having pelvic floor problems. We're not going to hydrate because we're worried of leakage. Then we're going to become dehydrated. That's going to have a knock-on effect with regards to our brain fog. Obviously, we just need to manage things best for us. And if that means that we need to be aware of maybe strengthening pelvic floor muscles through Pilates or through different exercises that we can do, we might need to seek other advice with regards to that. But please do not let your body get dehydrated from a health point of view, but also from a menopausal symptom point of view. Being hydrated will also have a knock-on effect to your hot flashes. The cooler you can keep your body, and hot flash is obviously another huge symptom that many women experience. If you can keep your body lovely and cool, and we do that by hydration, it's going to reduce those hot flashes. So again, hydration is another big rock that you need to think about. So again, if you're experiencing those hot flashes, other things that you could do. So first of all, trying to hydrate as much as you can, eating as cool foods as possible, and trying to move away from things that are going to naturally increase your core temperature from a food source point of view. So any spicy food is not going to be your friend with regards to the menopause. This will also have a knock-on effect with regards to your night sweats. So definitely think about reducing the amount of spicy food that you're eating and increase cooler foods. So foods that are actually naturally going to cool the body down. So, you know, thinking at the moment, it's great because it's nice and warm. We will want to eat more salads, more cooler foods, definitely things like cucumber that have got quite a lot of water content in them that can naturally keep you hydrated as well. Being able to reduce that kind of furnace within you will make a big difference. And a lot of women don't realize this, that furnace is affected by spicy foods that we eat, but also sugar spikes that as well. So reducing your sugar content within your diet, and again, you might turn around to me and say, but I eat really well, Kelly. And that's what everyone says until someone really looks at what they're eating. Think about the amount of excess sugar you're putting into your body. And that might not come from, you know, sugar you put in your food or in your tea or coffee, but you might not realize that you're getting an excess amount of sugar from processed foods. You don't know that sugar's been put in there. Or you might be having low fat versions of food, which actually has the fat taken out of it. But because the fat's taken out of it, they've got to put sugar or artificial sweeteners in it, which are stimulants. The other thing as well with regards to increasing that furnace within you is things like caffeine and alcohol. All of these things can massively increase your core temperature and will have a knock-on effect with how you experience your hot flashes and your night sweats. So be really mindful of how much caffeine and alcohol you're having, because that's going to affect your symptoms. So I'm not saying, I'm not going to be a martyr and saying don't drink coffee or don't drink alcohol, but think about when you're having it and how much you're having of it, and that will make a difference. Certainly, if you're somebody who is experiencing really bad night sweats, you do not want to be having any caffeine or any stimulants sort of like after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So be careful of that, because that will still have a knock-on effect to be able to you know, keep that body temperature really high. Lots of people have a cup of tea before they go to bed, and caffeine is very high in tea unless you're having decaf tea or a fruit tea. And they don't realize that that's a stimulant that's going to, you know, increase the symptoms of their night sweats and their hot flashes. So be careful of that. Hydrate, have a fruit tea instead, and that's going to be more beneficial for you. So brain fog, going to be affected by how hydrated you are, but also sugar makes a big difference. Be careful as well of caffeine for brain fog. What we don't realize, we often think, oh, we need a coffee to get us going in the morning. We need, you know, that caffeine to increase our brain power. Do you know, actually, caffeine reduces the amount of blood flow to your brain by 30%. This is why when you take off caffeine from your diet, you experience these horrendous headaches. The headache actually is the increase of blood flow to the brain. It's almost like a little bit of a, you know, where you're getting a bit of a head rush that happens over maybe 3 or 4 days. But then all of a sudden that goes, and then you get this mental clarity like nothing before. But most people can't get themselves through those 3 or 4 days. They give up and then they go back to drinking caffeine and those headaches go. So we can absolutely manage our symptoms just through thinking about changing up our lifestyle, changing up our hydration, changing up our nutrition, reducing the amount of spicy foods, reducing the amount of caffeine, reducing the amount of alcohol. You might be sitting here going, well, Kelly, that's totally boring. Well, the question then is, what would you prefer? Do you prefer your horrendous symptoms that you're experiencing, or to eat and drink whatever you want? Actually, you know, to increase the amount of good foods in your diet, eating better, higher quality of protein, good fats, will actually make you feel better. You'll probably lose weight as well. Many women experience the midsection weight gain, and that is down to the fact that their body isn't as metabolic anymore because their hormones have changed. They've got a reduction in estrogen, they've got a reduction in testosterone, and they store weight around their center a lot easier. Their cortisol levels increase, that's your stress hormone, and we store weight around our center where cortisol is released around the adrenal glands, so around their midsection. So by reducing the amount of things that increase your stress hormone naturally, like caffeine and sugar, and then thinking about managing your stress a little bit better, you might find that that midsection weight gain actually goes as well. All of this will have a positive effect. So as much as it might be boring and it might be, you know, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't go without my cup of coffee. I'm not saying completely get rid of it. Just think about how much you are having, and that will definitely make a difference. So your big rocks that you need to think about is your hydration. You need to think about your nutrition. Reduce the amount of sugar that you're intaking, reduce the amount of caffeine you're intaking and alcohol. Think about then increasing things that are going to support you hormonally. Good quality protein. Whether you're a meat eater, pescatarian, vegetarian, or a vegan, you need to increase the amount of protein you are getting in your diet. And that's going to help you with regards to increasing your energy, increasing, if you're training, your recovery and your growth of your muscles after you've trained as well. But also protein in the body will help you feel fuller for longer. So you won't want to snack on high sugary, carby types of foods. And with protein, if your body isn't actually using it, we will get rid of it. We tend to not really store it. Thinking about increasing the amount of good fats in your diet. This is going to help you with your brain power. It's going to help you with balancing your hormones as well. So good fats come from, you know, our unsaturated fats, avocados, our good oils, not vegetable oil, but olive oil, things like that. Making sure that, you know, we're having a good amount of fat from maybe extra virgin olive oil, eggs. Again, you can get some good fats from certain meats and fish like salmon. But the meat itself sometimes have a good amount of fat in it. Obviously, I'm not saying here eat the fat from your bacon or anything like that, but actually to increase maybe a little bit of red meat in your diet if you eat it. If you don't eat it, then increase the amount of good fats from things like chickpeas, hummus. Again, could be a great way to increase that. Certain nuts and seeds will really, really help you. And that as well will keep you fuller for longer. So you won't want to overindulge. You won't want to grab that packet of biscuits or, overindulge with regards to sweet treats. So upping the protein, upping the good fat. Don't be scared of carbs. As a perimenopausal woman, you do not need to be scared of your carbohydrates, but what you do need to do is be mindful of what type of carbs you're eating. Steer away from the simple carbs, the white bread and the cakes and the biscuits, and increase the amount of complex carbohydrates you're eating from things like rice and potatoes, sweet potatoes ideally, having things maybe like root vegetables, which have got a really good amount of complex carbohydrates in there as well. So go for more natural sources, which are gonna help you. All of these things will help as well to reduce the amount of cortisol in your diet and in your body, and that's going to have a knock-on effect with regards to your symptoms. So I know you've probably heard this many times from me, but your food is your medicine. Movement as well massively will help. Anything that's going to help to lower your stress hormone, things like Pilates, yoga, stretch, relaxation, breath work, meditation. All of these things will help you as well. But if you haven't got your lifestyle right with regards to your food and your water, there's no amount of meditation and breath work you're going to do. It's going to have an effect from it. Food is medicine. Movement is medicine. These two essentially could massively change the experience you're having as a perimenopausal or a menopausal woman. I would love to know your thoughts. I would love to know, if you've got any questions regarding this, but also have a little look at those additional talks in this group that I've done on brain fog, I've done on hot flashes, I've done on how food can affect mood, midsection weight gain. Have a look at all of these. I'm going to keep these coming and keep giving you more and more information, but I don't want to overpower this too much too soon. I just want you to think about what areas of your lifestyle could possibly be tweaked, and you need to give it a little bit of time. Your body isn't just going to adjust like that straight away. Think about giving it at least 4 weeks to see an effect. Like with anything, you wouldn't expect to just do one gym session and all of a sudden, never need to go back to the gym, get all the gains that you need, that you want. You know that this is going to take a little bit of time. Your body's going to take a little bit of time to adjust. And as you get older, it takes longer. Okay. So just be mindful of that. Let me know any questions. Let me know any thoughts. Otherwise, I really hope that's been helpful. And those of you that are instructors and you are thinking about doing talks, this could be a great little opener for you to take this information and give it to your participants as well. And then get them to give you info on what they want more info about. Yeah. Take care, gang. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon.